Welcome back to the Avenue, and I am so glad and excited that you're here today. If you are a returning viewer, thank you for coming in. If you're new, welcome to the Avenue. This is Adrian's Avenue, and on this channel, we talk about money, things that just make money make sense. Just to the average person, you don't have to be a millionaire, but we want money to make sense to you. Today, it's going to be a little bit different because I've told you about what my word was last year, which was intentional, and then my word this year, which was increase. And I want to be transparent about what has happened when my word was intentional last year. So often we tell you things and then we don't do the follow up on where we are today. So I want to share with you where I am in my financial journey today because a lot has changed since last year. I've grown a lot and I want to share that with you today. So stay tuned.
She's a go-getter, alright. What a beautiful sight. Anything she sets her mind to, she stays on it day and night. She writes the checks, she signs the deeds. She plants the fruitful seeds and still finds the time to meet all her family needs.
Let's start with my word being intentional last year and what happened last year. I'll share with you the results of what happened last year. But being intentional last year, what it meant to me was I was going to say no to some things. I was going to say yes to some things, but I had to align what I was saying yes and no with to my goals, what I had in mind, what I wanted to get accomplished for the year. And I did have some good accomplishments for last year, but being intentional helped me a lot. It grew me. I was intentional in my decisions. I was intentional in just life in general, intentional in my finances in specific. So there were things that I wanted to do, things that I did, and just things that I knew that I wanted to go in a certain direction. And I needed to stay on that path, stay on focus, just being intentional, being consistent in the things that I was doing on a daily basis. And some of the things that I did as far as being intentional every morning, I have a morning routine. So every morning I was reading scripture. There were some scriptures that I needed to read just to start my day, to level things out, to give me a good foundation because none of us know what's going to happen to us throughout the day. But if we start the day out right, hopefully we can handle some of those things that may be surprises. And it was not an easy journey. I'll just let you know that right now. Things came up. Maybe I was uncomfortable in certain situations. It pushed me some, it grew me some, but I'm glad my word was intentional last year. And next, I will share with you by being intentional, being consistent every day, and being focused on the things that I know that I needed to do on a daily basis. It yielded results, and that's what I'll share with you next. My first results that I'm super, super proud of is last year I capped at Keller Williams being a real estate agent. What does that mean? It meant that I paid enough into the company where I could, after that, my next commissions, I wouldn't have to necessarily split my commissions with the company anymore. So there is a certain percentage when you're first starting out. Every year we have to do this. A certain percentage we get to keep, a certain percentage we have to pay into the company. Once you meet a certain goal, you no longer have to pay that percentage into the company. So you pretty much get your whole commission to yourself. You can do what you want to with that. And it's just great because it means more money in my pocket. And, I will no longer have to continue to pay in, but it's an annual thing. Last year, I did that. I was focused and it worked out for me. So I'm super, super proud of that I did last year. The second thing that happened last year by being intentional on YouTube, you guys, I grew my channel. At the beginning of the year, I was sitting about 5,000 subs. And at the beginning of this year, I'm sitting at about a little over 11,000 subscribers. Thank you to you for helping me do that because you had a big, huge part in that. But I consistently came on every Tuesday morning, Central Time at 8:30 a.m., right? Most of my shows are pre-recorded. You guys know that. And so, but I come on and I was very consistent. I've been doing this for about 4 years now, but I have my rhythm down to every Tuesday. I'm going to bring you something beneficial to you as far as finances are concerned. I'm real intentional about the topics that I pick and the words that are coming out of my mouth to share with you because it comes with a responsibility. Even though this is not financial advice that I'm giving you, it's financial awareness that I'm giving you. And I want to make sure I'm giving you things that you can use, information that is correct that I'm giving, and also encouraging you to do the research for the things that you want to research a little bit more on. So with that, it was intentional, and I was great. I was glad that I did the things that I did to help you out on YouTube. The third thing that happened last year was in my stock brokerage account, I bought stock and I had a certain goal. I went from a certain amount to another amount, and it increased by 33% as far as my returns, and my dividends, and what I put in the stock market. So it grew to an amount more than what I thought it was going to grow. You just never know. You put money in, you hope that you're purchasing the right stock. You watch it go up, you watch it go down, and you don't worry about it if you believe in those companies. And that's what happened last year. So I was super proud of that, but that was because I was intentional last year with these few things that I decided to do. The two other things that I also accomplished last year was that I paid down some more on the mortgage of one of my rental properties. So that's all going in the right direction by not necessarily because they cash flow. So I don't necessarily spend the money, but I pay down what I owe in debt as far as the mortgage is concerned. So I was glad to do that. I had a goal in mind to do that, and I accomplished that goal. I have another goal in mind to get it paid down even further this year, and I'm pressing toward accomplishing that goal also. And the last thing that I did is that I grew my community as far as my Well and Wealth community. You guys can sign up for it in the description below. But if you want to receive the free newsletters, I grew that community. Also became an author of my financial therapy cards that I have available still. But that was something that I wanted to work on, something that I wanted to complete, and something that I wanted to get out to the folks that needed those financial therapy cards. They are available. They're great. Try them. Some of you have bought them, and I appreciate that. But those were some of the things that I did last year by becoming more intentional. And it changed me. I, saw a few things that I could improve on, saw a few things I wanted to move in a different way. And I was super, super excited and grateful for the progress that I made. It's not about perfection. It's about progress. You put a goal in front of you, you achieve that goal, and then you move to the next goal. So by being intentional, you can actually do some of the things that you set out to do. But it takes a mindset of not moving from what the focus is, what the aim is, not letting people pull you off to one direction or another, but stay focused on the goals and stay in alignment with your decisions as far as what you want to do, what you want to accomplish in life or for the year. So before I continue with this update, I want you to hit that like button and that subscribe button so that you can stay up to date on the latest information that I'm bringing to you. I love to bring this information to you. So give me a like, give me a share, subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Share this out to someone else who may need to hear it. I'm trying to grow the channel again, so I need as many subscribers as I possibly can. Some of you guys are coming in and watching and not subscribing. So if you can, just go ahead and subscribe, and so we can get this good information out to you. Now, moving on to this year's word. I accomplished a lot last year, learned a lot, and the thing is to build off of that to go further in life. This year's word is increase. And it's just not just increase, especially not increase in weight and in size, but there are some things that I specifically want to increase in. And one of the things that I shared with you last year is increase in optimal health. That is one of my major focuses this year, is to increase in optimal health. Now, there are about 7 areas that I specifically want to increase in that I'm going to have to be intentional in order to hit these goals also. But increase in optimal health is one of them. One thing that I did just yesterday, as a matter of fact, I was not happy with my primary care physician, and I decided that I was not going to go back with her. So I just decided to change to a new one. And boy, am I glad I did. My physical is not coming up until later on in the year, but just in case I needed to go into the doctor or something like that, I wanted someone that I felt comfortable going into. And you guys, if you're paying a professional and you don't like what's going on in the office or what they're doing or how they're handling you, how they respond to some of the things or what they're saying that you need to do, if they're just trying to push meds on you and that type of thing, it's your choice. You can go to whoever you feel comfortable with. It's your body. You should be able to ask any questions you want to ask and get referrals from them if you want to go a different route with certain things. So I now have a new physician and I have not seen her yet, but I just signed up with her. Everything is transferring over to her. And as I was leaving her office, which I was just so excited about this, one of her patients in the office overheard our conversation at the front desk, and she said, "You have made a great choice. She is wonderful." She said, "You will not regret switching over." And I was just so happy. It made the rest of my day with that. So that's one of the areas in optimal health that I wanted to increase in. Because this is a financial channel, you know one of the areas that I want to increase in is in wealth. I'm always watching the stock market, always watching out for opportunities. Last year, I was granted an opportunity that just kind of fell in my lap, and I took advantage of it, and I'm so glad that I did. Because if you have the money and an opportunity comes along and you can take advantage of it where your money can make more money at a higher interest rate, you want to jump in and jump on that. Of course, check everything out. But what I connected up is very legit and it's working for me. So I'm appreciative of that. So being a financial channel, you knew that that was coming up next. Another thing that I want to increase in is increase in experiences, which means I'm going to have to be open to doing other things, going out, putting myself out there. I'm not necessarily a loner, but I don't do a whole lot. But as things become available here in my town, Austin, or some of the surrounding towns, or in Texas, I'm going to put myself out there and maybe attend some other events, do some things that didn't do last year. But I want to increase in experiences because time is something that we cannot get back. We're getting older and older each day. I'm as young as I'm going to be right now, and I'm just getting older by the minute, and so are you. So we need to cherish these experiences, spending time with family, spending time with friends, just cherish these experiences that we're having on a daily basis. Increase in knowledge, that's another thing that I definitely want to do. The Bible talks about increasing in knowledge, and I want to know things and then put things into action. Not just learning stuff and sitting it on the shelf, but I want to figure things out, learn things, and then put them into action. Another increase that I want to do is in skill, you all. This AI stuff is changing from day to day to day, and we can benefit from that. I know a lot of people are afraid of what's out there, but it's moving at light speed. And if you don't jump on the bandwagon, you're going to be left behind. At least read about it and find out what's out there and what's going on. Some of these things are very helpful for you and to you. So make sure you're paying attention to what's happening and other skills. It's not only AI, it could be other skills that you learn that can benefit you and your family. But don't back off of the learning, don't back off of the skills, because the more you know, the more you're able to help yourself, as well as those skills that can become beneficial to someone else, and they are willing to pay for those skills, right? As a realtor, I have negotiation skills that my clients don't have. I can do things and I can talk to people, see where they are, and negotiate the best deals for my client. So those skills are invaluable. People don't buy and sell houses as often as I do for my clients. Every 5 to 7 years, maybe 10 years, a person maybe sell a house or buy a house. I do it consistently, monthly. This is going on with me. So that skill is of value to me and to my clients. Another thing that I want to increase in is in my giving. It's nothing like making more, but it's nothing like giving more also. So if God blesses me to make it, I'm going to give my fair share and give more. I'm going to give from my heart. If there's something in need that I see this in need, I'm going to give. I want to give more. I want to be a giver. giving kind words and giving out various things, but I want to be able to financially support and give where there is a need. And the last thing that I want to increase in is in my relationships. And I have seen this already starting to happen because in real estate, I'm doing things a little bit differently. I'm being involved in more events this year. I'm throwing some events, I'm throwing some webinars, I'm going out and speaking in some churches and speaking in some places about real estate. So having community events. I'm doing all of this. So I'm meeting people and developing relationships. And that's what I want to increase in, these relationships. And as I'm meeting people going out, if I see that they can add value to my team of vendors that I need beside me, if it's an insurance person, if it's a lawyer, whoever it is, I'm inviting them in, getting to know them a little bit better. Let's see how we can help each other in our businesses. So this is great, and I'm looking forward to all of these increases, these 7 increases in my life for this year. But that's what I'm going to be focused on, and that's the update that I wanted to share with you as far as this year is concerned. Okay, a few things that has changed this year. You all know about my morning routine. You know I do check-ins on my money on a daily basis, whether it's the stock market, whether it's the bank accounts, whatever it is. I do daily check-ins, sometimes several times a day, especially if I'm looking to purchase something in the stock market. So you all know about all of that. That's not a surprise. But what I am doing differently this year is having more think time. There's some things that if we just set our mind to it and think about it before we make that move, we will make that move with courage. We'll make that move with confidence and be in a better position. But think time, you guys, it's invaluable. Sometimes you need to spend time with yourself just thinking about some things. And I'm not saying don't take action. What I'm saying is think about it. And my think time is valuable time to me because my mind, I think all the time. And sometimes I get some crazy ideas. Sometimes I get some great ideas. And I need time to sit down and develop those ideas because they're really good. And so, but the think time is something that I'm implementing into my weekly schedule. A time, whether I'm thinking about real estate, thinking about YouTube, thinking about topics, whatever it is, thinking about life, thinking about developing relationships, you know, whatever it is, I need the think time to actually do that. And I've been robbing myself of this think time in the past, you know, not necessarily haphazardly doing things, but sometimes we need to just sit with ourselves and think about it, rest on it, think about it, and be led from our thoughts. So that's one thing I'm instituting this year that I didn't do last year. And actually, I like it. I really like it. You know, I'm doing more relaxation. That's another thing that I'm trying to incorporate. I'm not going to say trying, I'm incorporating into my schedule this year too. When it's time to rest, it's time to rest. When it's time to go to sleep at night, it's time to shut these iPads off and get in the bed and go to sleep. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm limiting my exposure to certain people. My environment is very important to me. And if it's not going to be beneficial to me, or if it's going to be sucking the very life out of me, I'm no longer going to stand for that or be around that. I don't want that in my life. And so it's important to me that my environment is good. If I'm going to think, I need a good environment to think in. I need to think on good things, and I need that environment to think in. I need to be well rested to do the thinking that I need to do. But the environment, who you're around, who you associate with, is very important. And so I'm shifting a little bit in that area. And my shifting is pretty much associating with more people. I have an accountability group in the morning that I just absolutely love and adore. I'm going to continue with those folks because they bring so much richness to our group. And it's a place where I need to be and learn a lot. But the environment is one thing that I would encourage you to protect yourself from. Also, make your environment an environment you want to be around and enjoy. Finally, the 2 things that I've learned is hope is not a strategy, but being intentional is a strategy, and increase happens daily if you focus on it. That's where I'm going this year. Come along for the journey. I'm glad to have you, and I'm grateful that you let me spend the time to share where I am right now in my journey. With that, I will see you in the next video.
Go Adrian. Humble, go get a bless. Let's go.